Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Striving to Thriving, Redefining Success. I am your host, Barbara Ellison. I am founder of Total Wellness Playroom for the best version of your life. And I am so excited to be here tonight to talk about redefining success and how we redefine success in our lives. It is such an important subject. I have an absolutely fabulous panel with me who is led by Miriam Smith Stevens of the Thankful Revolution. So, Miriam, welcome and say hi. Tell us who you are, what you do, and then introduce your panel.
Well, thank you so much, Barbara. I am so glad that we get to continue our conversation. You were on my podcast, Transformational Tuesday, yesterday. We had a fabulous time. You're a rave review, so we got to bring you back on. And my name is, as she said, Miriam Smith Stevens, and I'm in the eastern region of the U.S. The way I came here is because back in the day, 2008, had a horrific trauma event occur, and I'll go into that a little bit more. And then had a wake up call by God Himself to be able to get out of my fog, as Barbara would call it. And here I is. I am here to just remind everybody, regardless of what we're going through, give them thanks. And so, with that said, that's just a little brief uh, blurb about me. Let's go ahead and pass the mic. I'm going to pass the mic to my beautifully adorned with a coiffure, a hat, Nina Blair.
Yes, get excited. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Miriam, and thank you, Barbara, for allowing me to be here today. Hello, everyone. I am Nina Blair, the extraordinaire, and I help people live extraordinary lives. So I'm so happy to be here because I just wanted to say that, you know what? This is a great opportunity for us to be in the land of the living. And not only that, I know we just had Thanksgiving, but I like to say, thanks living because it's a wonderful day to get excited, to shine our
I
light, and
love
to
it.
be able to serve others. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm looking forward.
Awesome, awesome. And let's go ahead and pass the mic to my lovely sister, Sherri Smith.
Good afternoon, good evening, folks. My name is Sherri Smith. My pen name is Shell T. I am the founder of Pill Away Purpose. It's after 30 years of customer service and just the things I've done and grown in God, I decided to share my journey and teach other women to find that jewel that's inside of themselves. We all have a jewel inside of ourselves. We just need to brush it off sometimes. So that's what my ministry is about. It's about showing women through biblical principles to find the diamond within themselves. I say from tears to triumph.
Love that. Love that. Thank you both, Sherri and Nina, for sharing. And now we're going to go to my backbones, the Will sister. And starting it off is Constance.
Hello, Miriam. Hello, this whole beautiful group today. I'm so happy to be here. I am Constance Wills. I am founder of Beauty Behind the Wall. It's a journey to self confidence, self worth, authenticity, vulnerability. It's all of that. Beauty Behind the Wall. I also do a moment with Constance on Facebook almost daily. And I either give insights, tell personal stories, teach a lesson. I just want to let people know your mindset is everything, and how you think determines how you live.
Exactly. Wonderful, wonderful. And without further ado, my sister from another mother, Regina, take the mic.
Well, hello everyone. We all look so beautiful. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you so much, Barbara, for having me back again. My name is Regina. I am the eldest daughter or the oldest sister of Constance. I'm so excited to be here. I am the founder of Reinventing a Woman. They call me Regina the Queen Wills, and I'm beginning to walk in my queendom. So I'm happy to be here. I'm reinventing a woman. I am right now in the process of I can't even speak today, is coming from being a cocoon. I mean, from a caterpillar to a cocoon to a butterfly, reinventing who I am.
Love that. Love that. Thank you, ladies, for giving us a taste of who you are. Now, Barbara, thank you so much for graciously allowing us to be here on this platform. What would you like us to talk about today?
You know what? One of the things that I have found is that we all have stories. And so what we're going to talk about today is our three stories and
Mm.
share, where you were when you knew something had to change. We all have those stories. And I'll start with mine so it'll give you a little hint. But then we have our decision stories when we knew, okay, we have to do something and this is what we're going to do. But then we have our pivot story. That time where we say, all right, I have to change. This is what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to do it. And you take action and you are moving forward. And then it hits you that, you know what? I need to help other people do the same thing. And I think every one of us have had those three stories. And for me, mine started when I lost my husband.
Mm.
I did not expect to be a widow so young. And when I woke up from my widow's fog, it was like, okay, I'm 61 years old. Who am I? And what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And right at that moment, I realized that I had no idea of who I was outside of all the labels that I had put on myself of being a wife and being a daughter and being a wife and then being a mother and then being a divorced failure and then being a successful wife again. And then I was a grandmother and a business owner. And now I'm a widow.
Mm.
Who am I? Who am I in all of that? And it was the scariest moment of my life because I had no idea.
Yeah.
But then I was blessed to be introduced to a coaching program. And I said, ooh, this is going to help. Because I knew there wasn't something wrong with me. I didn't need therapy. I just needed help to get my life back together, to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So that's when I joined the coaching program. And it has been absolutely a blessing. So now, through the journey, now I work with late career business professionals who are facing retirement and they have no idea of who they are outside of their job title or their job description. And
Wow.
what am I going to do when I don't have the job? What am I, my lots of times their health is starting to fall apart because of the stress, or they don't have enough income to live on. What am I going to do if I don't have the income? Well, let's share with you how to do that. So that's where I come in. And it has just been a blessing when I see the light bulb go on that, oh yeah, I don't have to just, fade away into I can enjoy being retired and I can be the best version of me when I retire. So absolutely. So now let's go around and everybody share their stories, as little or as much as you want. And then, we're going to have a conversation about them.
All right. Thank you so much. I always love hearing your story. It's such an encouragement. And it's apropos for a lot of us in our golden years. We get here and we're like, what happened? What happened to the time? What am I supposed to be doing now? So to have all of that happen to you and then be able to bounce back and become a difference maker in this humanity that we're living in for such a time as this, phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing, Barbara. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do it alphabetically, but I'll be last. And so we'll start with my sister, who is I am in the background, but she's going to share a little bit about how she came to be in her origin story. Take it away, Nina.
Thank you, Miriam. As you can see, my background was designed by the Thankful Revolution, Miss Miriam. Get excited. And it says, I am light. And let me just say, with my story, I never felt that I was light. You see, growing up, I had problems with insecurities, low self esteem, and I just didn't know who I was. So I did a lot of people pleasing growing up. And what happened was, I was doing things out of duty and obligation.
Right.
And not doing things for Nina. So I never knew who I was, my God-given identity. Because you know what? I was putting myself down just so that I can win the crowd of others. But I also grew up with daddy issues as well. And, I was looking for love in all the wrong places. Then I found myself in a domestic violence situation.
Mm.
But through it all, I can say with that story that I had, it has taught me to learn to love myself and have self worth. And I want to say that since I am, over 50, and I am a part of a coaching club too, which is Finding Purpose After 50, and which is amazing. Our coach, Dr. Frederick Gyans, it has helped me to reflect on self worth. And not only that, I have been able to have a conversation with my dad. And he also told me, he said, I can never give you what I never had. And sometimes we look for our parents to give us something, or they could have made different decisions than what they made. But I said to him, I said, I never had that emotional piece with my father. And that's what he told me. I couldn't give you what I never had. So what I had to do was learn to accept him and love him for who he was. And we had such a great relationship throughout the years that we didn't wasn't really close when I grew when we were living in the household. But after that time, we were always speaking on the phone for hours that our phone would even hang up and say, well, I guess that's it until we call each other again. But I wanted to say he's no longer with us, but I'm so glad that I had that forgiveness piece for him. And not only that, recently I just had an awesome opportunity to be able to see the person that I had the domestic violence situation with. And once again, he was a totally different person now than what he was back then. But I realized for myself that I had to heal my inner child to be able to move on, to get the things that I want to get in my life. And not only that, to be able to get the healing and also the forgiveness. So we had an opportunity to forgive each other and just grow from that situation. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Mm. Wow, Nina, it's first of all, thank you for sharing, because your story is a story that a lot of us may have been in, you know. And I pray that someone would hear your story and say, "Oh wow, I'm facing that now, or I've been there," and there's no shame. There's no shame. We want people to know that if you're there now, there can be help. There's places you can reach out to get the help you need. And if you've been there before, you can be healed. If you haven't already gone through the steps, you can find healing. Nina is going to share her information where you can reach her. If you just want a safe space to talk about it, because that's the thing. A lot of us have been silenced and it's hurting us, it's causing us illness. And we need to just be free to be me, free to be you. So thank you so much for sharing, my sister. Next, we're going to go to my lovely Sherri, and she's going to share a little bit about her origin story and how it came to be and what she's doing now.
Oh, wow. Where do we start? I grew up as an army brat, so we moved a lot. So I never really connected with people because we every 3 years in the military you move. And then I grew up with parents who were busy being living life, trying to supply for us. So they didn't. I wouldn't say they say you get the parents that you had, and unfortunately, it's like it was a generational thing. Everybody was more concerned with bringing money in than parenting at the time. So I grew up with issues of not quite knowing who I was or knowing about my history, or so I always kind of felt like the odd man out. And years of just going through the motions of doing that, I've then in my I say late 20s I joined a church, and that's when I found my spiritual father. Now, with that being said, I was a daddy's girl. My dad did, try to do some things with me and my brother. Like when the Star Wars movies came out, we were the first kids on the block to get it. When Atari came out, we were the first kids to get it. So his thing was gifts. His love language was giving us stuff. So we had all the things, we just didn't have him.
Mhm.
So I grew up, I got stuff, but I didn't have that human connection. And through my traveling through different ministries, I noticed the theme was community. And I didn't quite know how to connect to community because it didn't make sense to me. I thought it was an unnecessary part of people's lives. I didn't think it was important. Well, in this last community I've came into, this last church I've grown in, my 3-year-old grandson had a heart attack and died.
Oh,
That was about 3 years back. And I did what I do. I went in my shell and I went to go do self healing. But the way this church gathered around my daughter and loved on my family and was really a loving community. I mean, like they call the pastors mom and dad. All the females are aunties and uncles, and like they are generally a family. I realized how much I missed in life and how much family is important to us. And through that self discovery and starting that healing process, I realized that when God says we are the apple of His eyes and that we're precious, I related it to diamonds because my philosophy has always been in order to get a diamond, you have to give it pressure. So, and then I'm a chef by nature, so I always do food. So that's what we got pulling back purpose, the diamond in the middle. Because if you pull back the layers of who you are, you will find that diamond in you. So it's not always just pressure and negativity. You can also peel back some things and find some things. So when me going through the process of healing, I realized I'm probably not the only person who felt this way. And everybody's onion shell or their layers are different. I mean, because like I've, been in an abusive relationship. I've been in through these other different hardships. But me being me, I just thought it was a part of life. Everybody goes through something. But through this community that I've been, and I realized how important it is to have connections and to have family and to peel back these things so that we can be better people, I decided I wanted to share that. And like I said, the two metaphors that I came up with was with the onion and the diamond. And I wanted, because I've always called my kids my diamonds. I tell my children all the time that they're black diamonds. And I would ask them, how do you get a diamond? How do you turn a coal into diamond? And they'll tell you, all of my kids will tell you pressure. And I'd be like, that's why I'm hard on you. Now, so what I've took was what I've known in the natural, I've turned it into a spiritual journey. And I'm allowing God to teach me how to use the same principles that I had and turn them into biblical principles and use biblical principles to teach women who are like myself, who didn't grow up in the church and didn't have that praying grandmother and that background, how to find God,
mhm.
receive His love, and find the diamond within themselves. Because we didn't all grow up in the church. We all didn't have, we don't understand. It's foreign to us. But everybody cooks and have to eat, so we can relate to food. Everybody, most women like jewels, so they can relate to the diamond. So if I put those two things together, that's things that they can relate to. And then when I add God in as that third part, He'll start making sense to them. Because of being a daddy's girl, if they say Heavenly Father, that makes sense to me. But if you never had a father figure, that doesn't make sense to you. But if I tell you, if you peel back that onion, it's going to make you cry. But if you peel enough of that onion and you can get to the diamond in yourself, you'll have triumph. That makes sense to you if you've never grew up in a church. So I took practical things and made them biblical. And
Absolutely.
and that's peeling back purpose. That's peel away purpose ministries in a nutshell. It's showing
Wow.
people who did not grow up in the church how to receive God, understand what He's doing with them, and how the things He says about them is true.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sherry. I love that. I love that. And yeah, a lot of people can relate to one food. You know, I'm a foodie, and can relate to, and a lot of us didn't grow up in church. Now, I did grow up, but there are a lot of people I've interacted didn't. And so it is important that we're relatable and that we can find a message that can hit the heart of the matter so that if there's an issue, if there's something that is out there that you want your own layers to be peeled back, but we don't know how to connect with somebody, they can reach you. They can talk to you. You have a story that you can share. And matter of fact, more importantly, you have an ear that you can listen. So thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
Now we're going to go to the Wills sister. We're going to start it out by the baby girl of the sisterhood. Go ahead, Constance, share about who you are and that beauty that you are.
Yes. Hello. My backstory, a little bit of my backstory. So I worked as a child. I'll go back there just for a few seconds. As a child, I can relate to a lot to what Nina said because I had no self-confidence. I was always scared. I was always in the background. And this is all the way going up through school and everything. I used to try to get friends, and I was a people pleaser, and I tried my hardest. People would say, you're just trying to buy friends or whatever, but I wanted friends. I wanted community. I wanted that. I went to a church and I didn't even have friends there. They were just as mean as the people at school. So I didn't have that friendship anywhere. And then I was just sort of quiet. Back then the children didn't say much. You just sort of sat and was quiet around adults. So I was very quiet. Everybody thought I was very shy, which I was. And part of that came from not believing in who I was. So fast forward to adulthood, I ended up having my one and only child out of wedlock in college. Actually, it was right after college. I take that back. I had just graduated. I became pregnant my last semester, and I was terrified again, yet again. I did not tell anybody till I was about 6 months. So there was definitely no going back. And I didn't, I didn't show that much. I just wore big sweatshirts and whatever. And I was fine. But I finally told my sister and my best friend at the time. And they said, oh no, we got to get this taken care of. So after that, told parents, etc. So I graduated in December. I had my baby early February. So about 6 weeks after I graduated, I had my only child. And I still didn't know Constance. I didn't have that. I didn't have any confidence, anything to push me to be what I wanted to be or who I needed to be. Because it was something I wanted to be when I was growing up, but that never happened. So I went ahead and got my degree in marketing, sociology, and business, which is a weird combination at that time. But I got a dual degree. So moving forward, I ended up working at a nursing home, a senior care facility. I was their director of social services for about 2-3 years. That was after I had the baby. And then I went on to the county and I got to the courts, and I was looking around. Oh, I like probation. I like this. I like that. I worked at pretrial. That was a wake up experience because I didn't know anything about criminal justice. I didn't really know much about criminals, but good guys and bad guys. I didn't know it was like it was. And I was going in the jail. I was talking to people right after they got arrested. That was my job in a pretrial. I was a pre-release specialist. So I was talking to them then. And I was able to do it, even though I was still considered shy and quiet. I then became a probation officer. So I just retired last year. I worked almost 35 years in the criminal justice field, and then, of course, with the seniors before that. But I still did not know. I defined myself by my job. When Barbara said that what she talks about is helping people to retire and find themselves, because most of us allow ourselves to be defined by our job because we do not, know who we are. And that was who I was. I was a probation officer, and I was that a lot of the time, and I wore that, energy, and I wore a lot of that. And now that I'm working on me, now that I'm working on mindset, I really see that. So after I retired, after my daughter graduated high school and went to college, I felt lost then because she was my life. I did everything with her. And so then after I retired from my job, again, I was in a place even deeper than when my daughter moved. I was like, oh God, what am I going to do now? oh, maybe I'll just get another job. Maybe. And I wasn't sure, but then I came across this beautiful coaching club that Nina mentioned, Finding Purpose After 50. And we were members before it became a coaching club. We went to master classes and classes, etc. And I felt like I worked harder on myself than I had ever worked in my life, even in college. And I have notebooks full of things that I wrote, and it's just, and this whole time it's been so liberating. So that was my pivot. That was when I realized I needed to change, was when I retired and I still felt lost. I still didn't have a drive to do anything else in life. And I sat in my living room probably for a few weeks, just twiddling my thumbs, really looking around. I didn't know what to do. And I was like, what am I going to do? So that was the point that I knew something had to change.
Wow. Yeah, and a lot of people I know, Constance, can relate to your journey. You know, having a child out of wedlock, but having the guts to still continue. Not saying, okay, wow, okay, here I am. You did a couple of pivots in your life there. You decided to stick with it, and you had supportive community like my next guest that's coming on. And I'm so proud that you did, because you're a testament for other people who might been in your situation, that just because this might happen, that doesn't define my totality of my life or my impact. And then when you came to the retirement, it's like, what do I do now? Just like Barbara said, what do I do now? How am I defining myself and coming out from behind that wall, that insecurity, that shyness, that vulnerability, and just making a prominent decision? Okay, I'm gonna get it. And having a community to back you. That's going to be a running theme, because we all need somebody. We're not on the island of ourselves. So thank you so much for sharing. And next we have Regina, older to the baby sister of Constance. What say ye about your lovely story and its powerful impact?
Well, I'm Regina, and my stage name is the Queen Wills, since they call me the Queen and people see me. But starting out when I was young, I had no idea who I was. I was always looked at as the ugly Black sister. No one ever saw me as beauty. No one ever saw me as anything. I went through school trying to, like my sister, make friends with people. I was trying to please people, make friends with people, trying to be a part of something. And as I stated before, I was a person that I was always out there. I was a theater major. I loved to be on the stage. That was one of my safe places, of being on the stage, of being someone totally different than who I really was, and then being accepted in those plays, because most of the times people accepted me in my plays, and I could become who I couldn't be outside. I thought I had lots of friends. I was always meeting people, but then they end up just doing me in. I went to work when I started very young. I went to work for the Pima County, and I worked Pima County for 18 years. And then they decided they were going to switch us over to the state. Well, I came to the part and I said, wait a minute, if you guys are switching me, then I need to take everything that I've earned and gained with me. And they said, well, we don't know if you can do that, Miss Wills. I said, well, I guess I ain't going with y'all then. Yes, exactly. I'm not going with y'all. And then finally, a week later, we'll be able to take all your vacation, your sick time. It'll all be transferred to the state. So then I worked for the state, and I just put everything together. And I worked for the state for 31 years. And I still thought I had friends there, but I didn't. I didn't have people that I could hang with. I didn't have people that saw me who I was. I was a person that was behind a glass, where you saw me, but I couldn't get out there. I was behind that glass wall. I couldn't get from behind there. I could sing, I could act. I was always leading the praise and worship in church. I was doing all those different things, but they didn't see me. I was there. I was seeing everything, but no one was seeing me. And then I retired from the state of Arizona in 2014, December the 17th, matter of fact, because we were going to Disneyland that Monday, and I was determined to go to Disneyland this time. I didn't get to go the last time, but I still didn't have that the love I was looking for. I was in a lot of different relationships, a lot of different things happened. Still, nobody just enjoyed me. And then I tried to at sometimes turn my life around. And I got to some points where I was so down that I tried to commit suicide 2 times. I was just so down and out. I just said, I don't have it. I don't have anything to live for. And one day I set all these different pills on the ledge of my window. And I was looking out of the swimming pool like this. And I says, well, don't make any difference. Everybody having fun. I'll just swallow these little jokers and be gone. And then I just started to cry. And I collected all those pills up, put them back in their boxes, and went about, still unhappy with who I was, never knowing who I was. Never, never, never. So I was like in that caterpillar stage where you're feeling around everywhere. Those little tentacle things, in the caterpillar, and they like feeling everywhere they need to go. And then I got to another point in my life where I said, I am just tired of everything. I'm tired of being here. I'm tired of this. I'm just tired. I am tired. And I just said that. So I came home and I found, well, we didn't have really liquor, but I found all the little liquors I could find in the house. And I drank and I drank and I drank and I drank. And I mean, I literally drank myself almost to death. And I said, well, I'm just going to go lay down in the bed and I'll be gone by the morning. Well, no, God saw fit that my sister then kind of had to break the door down because I wasn't letting them in the room. I guess I had enough strength to keep them out, but I still didn't know who I was. And then my sister joined this coaching club, which we're in, Finding Purpose After 50. And I'm well after 50, thank you. And I'm finding my purpose now. I'm in this cocoon that I can become a butterfly and fly. And my sister would always talk about, yes, transformational willingness. You have to be willing to be transferred. And I say, oh, shut up. Here we go again. Transformational willingness. Have to be willing to be transferred. But I didn't let her know. I said, oh, that sounds really good, Connie. Yeah, right. That's me. And then she was talking about other stuff that was being taught in the class. And, really, even though I was making fun of certain things in my mind, it was actually going in my heart. And I was thinking, you really do have to be willing to be transformed to make a change in your life. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there, and my initials to my name is RAW. And I was sitting there saying, RAW. I said, I want something that has my initials so I can be raw. Because when you come in, you're raw. And then you go. So it's reinventing a woman. And I'm starting to reinvent myself. Reinvent who I am. And the pivot is this coaching club, getting in there and knowing who I am. And I just really, really appreciate, you don't know how much I appreciate my sister for getting in that club, for speaking those words to me, for getting on my last nerve speaking them. But it didn't matter. I came in and now I am willing to be transferred.
Look at that. I just love this. And yeah, it took your nagging little sister to wake you up, huh? Sometimes it takes a little thorn in your side or a gnat trying to shoo that gnat away, but didn't work, huh? Love it. And, there's so many people, and not to joke about it, but there's a lot of people who are in a crisis, right? Who have no hope, who were right like you. I call you the cocoon whisperer, quiet as kept, but no longer quiet, and who just feel in a dark place. And they too want to just take themselves out. Now, I'm so grateful that didn't happen because you wouldn't have blessed my life so for such a time as this. But those of us who are out there that are in that place, I would just ask you to stop. Just stop for a moment. Just take 1 minute and then take another minute and take another minute. And if you need somebody, you got us. We got your back. We'll be your biggest cheerleader. Reach out. Barbara's here. Nina's here. Regina's here. Constance here. Sherri's here. I'm here. You're so valuable and you're so necessary. So please reach out. You're not alone. You're not alone. And there is hope. With that said, when I had in October 2008, my son was away at my alma mater, HU Hampton University. My mother's from HU Howard, but I'm from the best. Anyway, but she begs to differ. So he was away as a freshman. I was in my home, and if I take these off, I can't see a thing. It's like a big blur. I'm sitting up, and the TV's watching me as I'm, calling myself watching the TV, but the TV's watching me. And then I heard a stirring in my apartment, a stirring. So imagine, you're in your place, your residence, you hear a stirring, and it's like not that typical stirring, the aches and groans and pipes and things, but something unusual, and you don't feel right. Something is going on. And so when I fumbled around, because I'm waking up trying to get the sleep out my eyes, and I fumble around and I finally get my glasses on, and where my door was open, I could see straight through to the end of the apartment to my washing machine. And there was a figure there. Wasn't my son, an unknown person. So here I am. You're like, okay, wait a minute. This isn't a ghost. This isn't an angel. This is a person in my home. So at that point, I'm trying to gather myself to run to my door, to the front door, but I didn't make it. I got tackled. Glasses went to flying. And then I was in a fight for my life. Whoever wants to wake up in the morning and figure, today I'm going to be in a fight for my life. We never do that. Nobody ever expects to wake up in the morning and experience something like this, an unknown assailant in their home, invading their privacy, and then you're in a fight for your life. And when I say my life, I screamed, and that was the wrong strategy, because next thing I know, person had my throat and I had no more breath in my body. So my last thought was, I guess this means I'm what it means to die. Literally. It was so surreal. And so when I woke up and I wasn't in heaven and I didn't see God's glorious light, nor did I see angels, I realized the person's still on me. Oh, okay. So I didn't die, but screaming is not going to work. So I've had years of customer service training. I've been in management as well. And what came to mind was, if I could make this person feel like I'm a human worth keeping, if I could keep talking, first off, then I'm not being choked. So if I can keep talking, I'm not going to be choked. And if I can make this person feel like I'm valuable enough that they won't want to, go back and try to finish me off, and then I'll just be compliant. So that's what happened. God gave me a strategy. And I just talked, I don't know what I was saying. I was saying all kind of manner of things, just trying to keep breath in my body. And finally, after me negotiating my life, the person left. Now, I did not know how that person got into my home. I couldn't find my glasses, because then when he tackled me, they flew somewhere. And I'm, early in the morning, so I'm running to try to, I did find my car keys. So I figured if I could just run to my car, I'll be safe, because I know they can't get in there. And that's what happened. Well, we're going to forward on in this story. I'm losing everything now. I lost my peace, my security. I'm here at night with a butter knife. Like a butter knife gonna do something. With a butter knife at night, trying to protect myself, barricading myself. Every night I push the door. I push my little dresser by the door. My son did come back from school. So just, here we are. And I'm up here at loss. I lost my job eventually, a very lucrative job. I lost my Mazda, which I was kind of sore about that because, and it was probably God's grace for me because I'm a speed demon on that highway. So I lost my Mazda with the booming sound system. And eventually we lost our home. So we were homeless, evicted. I was suffering a lot of losses. But before that time of actually getting kicked out, I'm sitting here in my own personal zombie apocalypse. Yes, I went through counseling. Yes, and it was good. And I recommend that for any traumatic life thing that you go through, take the counseling, do what you need to do, reach out, get the community. But I'm up here and I can't be that light anymore. I can't be that go-to friend. I had nothing in me left, period. From that, it was over. And I wanted to be over, just like my sister. And in my last desperate hope and plea, I asked my son to scrounge up some change and go to the local convenience store because I was hungry for a cup of soup. I know y'all had them microwavable cup of soups. You open it just slightly and put the water in, and then you put it in the microwave for a few minutes, and then the ramen noodles burst up in the dried peas and carrots. They puff up. And so he brought me that, and I was on my bed, and I was just like looking at him like, can you just pray for me? I must have looked pitiful because he in his own world. He ain't thinking about trying to be there. But that day he was. So he stood by my bed, handed me the cup of soup. The cup of soup, half open, was steaming. Steam went to my nose, and he started praying. And he was like, Lord, please help my mother. And I don't know, whatever came up out of me was like that scream that I screamed when that attacker had my throat. I screamed out of my belly, Lord, thank you for this cup of soup. A cup of soup, y'all. I'm thanking God for a cup of soup. But you know what happened? Joy. God's joy deposited in me and broke every depression, every zombie apocalyptic thought I had out of me. And hence, he told me, okay, daughter, I know it was rough, but I don't care. Whatever, well, he does care, but whatever you go through, I want you to focus on me and just give me thanks. Hence, the thankful revolution happened. And when he deposited that in me, we got evicted. We were running around homeless, sleeping on our friends' couches. We had several homes we had to go to, lost several jobs. Stuff still be happening, y'all. Life is not rosy. But what God deposited in me was his joy. Yeah. That joy is unspeakable. It goes beyond my imagination, it's a peace. And hence, that's what I want to encourage everybody. That's why I have the CPR moment. And I told Barbara, I said, it's interesting because CPR has, I believe everybody has a crisis or a situation they're going through, a challenge. The P is the pivot. And that was my pivot, that moment, that cup of soup. Oh, I forgot to tell you that me and my son, after I started screaming, Lord, thank you for this cup of soup, we started crying and laughing so hard. We had tears coming down, the breath. You know how y'all laughing and you can't even get the laugh out? You just crying, your stomach hurts. I'm rolling around in the bed, just laughing. He's laughing, looking at me. It was just hilarious. That's the type of environment that our God helps create. One of joy for a contrite spirit. So he created that environment, gave me thankfulness, gave me gratitude, restored my joy, gave me peace. And here we are today, all of us, because he intervene. And then, hyperspeed, I also joined this coaching community because I became a hermit, guys. I still like being at home, and God's working in it and through me. And I found Finding Purpose After 50 as I add Dr. Fred. And he's doing a master class this week, y'all, free. So y'all go ahead, check out our Facebook pages. I know we posted the link, but that community has been a godsend. And I've met all these beautiful women and more. And I encourage everyone, whatever stage you are in your journey, whatever place you are and crossroad you're at in your journey, you can have your own pivot. And there's going to be many pivots in your life, many ups and downs, just not one. There's a lot of stuff happening in between all of these stories that we're sharing. We're just giving you a snippet. But if you get that core foundation, you can get through. You can get through. And we'll be here for you and others. Find your community, find your tribe. So that's a little bit about, us. Barbara, what else do you have for us today?
Yeah. What absolutely amazing stories. And that's the thing. So many people think that their story doesn't matter. Have all of you met people that, oh, well, no, 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 I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. Because they don't feel that they're worth sharing their story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important. And that's one of the reasons why I started this show. Because people need to hear that they're not alone. That there's other people who have had maybe not the exact same story, but similar. We're all in this together. You can't do life on your own. And like for me, one of the things that I've shared with so many people, so often we are brought up that if we do A, B, and C, then we will have D, E, and F, and then we'll become X, Y, Z. The only problem is that's backwards. We need to have being who we're supposed to be first. Know who we are, because then once we know who we are, we will do what God wants us to do, and do the thing, be that calling, and then we'll have everything. We'll have happiness and joy and prosperity and a calling and a ministry or whatever. We can have it all. And so often that doesn't happen. And that's one of the reasons why, ladies, this has been absolutely amazing. So does anybody have any final words, and what we're going to do while we're talking about just little final words, we're going to be putting across where to reach out to you. And so as host here, if something that one of these ladies has said, make sure you reach out to them. I know Miriam has said it. I think several of us have said it. You're not alone. And you don't have to be alone. You don't have to do it alone. There is support out there absolutely for anyone. And feel free to do that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're all going to just maybe share one sentence statement or scripture or something that's just one thing of our last words that we could share. Let's start it off in the order that we were, Nina.
Yes, thank you, Barbara and Miriam, again for having me. I love that, Barbara, exactly what you said. That's the formula for success: be, do, have. And that's the thing. Once we know who we are as a being, and really to let everyone know out there, your true identity comes from God.
Yeah.
It comes from God. Knowing who you are, when you line up with Him, He will give you what you need to do your earthly assignment, and always remember, turn your pain into passion.
Yeah.
I know sometimes people do not want to share their stories, but
Right.
you're right, Barbara. We're more alike than we are different. And a lot of times we never know how we will resonate with somebody else's story. And the biggest thing, it's not only us as individuals, every business that has ever been created has a story.
Right.
They either got tired or they got inspired. And that's why they're still here doing the work and serving mankind. So I say to all of you out there, just like myself, I've been at a dark place before, but now I got my healing. I'm learning to now know my God given identity, and I'm helping others to know that, so that, we can shine our light. So keep going, keep growing, and keep on glowing. Thank you so much for having me.
Love
Awesome.
that. Love that. Sherri.
Yes, thank you. I'd also like to thank you both for having me on. What I'm learning to do is embrace my curve, this learning curve of mine. Because I don't know everything. Like this is my first interview panel and such. But what I find interesting is how connected we all are. How each one of our stories has at least one line that is completely the same. Though we come from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different hues, different financial things, we all have this one common thing. And that's what I think we need to continue to concentrate on as a community, what we do have in common. And that's what I hope to be able to continue to do with peeling back your purpose, to help people find out what they have alike more than what they have different.
Right.
Because I was that person who thought I didn't need anybody, and I realized on the need for community. So, like, if anyone does want to reach out to me, they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm in the process of making a Facebook page because I've started
Oh,
I've started a journal company that has different journals that people can start working those things out. Like right now, I'm in the process of creating an journal where people do I am statements for 30 days, just so that they can start speaking into their own lives. These are the principles that I've learned in Dr. Fred's community, the things of you got to start saying who you are so that you can become until you believe it.
Yeah.
So those I've started different journals of self development, and I'm also in the process of writing a book, a course on how to heal through biblical principle. And what I'm going to do is have my memoirs to coincide with each course. So for each course, there's going to be a memoir that coincides it, so you can not only read about my journey. It'll be like, because I know for myself, I need examples. You can't just tell me to do
Yeah.
something and walk away. I need somebody to show me. So I'm an actual through my own life memoir show you how I did it, to kind of give you some breadcrumbs of how to use this training manual that I'm doing. So those are the things that I have in the works right now. And like I said, if you have any questions or just want somebody to talk to, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. And like I said, coming up soon, sooner than later, will be a Facebook page as well.
yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My beautiful Constance.
Yes. Thank you again, Barbara, for having me on here again. And thank you, Miriam, for inviting me to be a part of this panel. What I want to leave with everyone listening is basically change your life one thought at a time, that we can change our lives one thought at a time, one tiny little tick every day, one little change can totally change our lives, our outcomes, our zip codes, our finances, our relationships. It can change everything about us moving forward. But what we need to realize is that God put our head on the top of our body for a reason. He put our mind at the top of our skull for a reason. That's the top. The change needs to be there first to trickle down through the body. Sort of like the body of Christ. The change, Christ first, trickle down to the body. We all have different jobs, different things to do, but we all are going the same direction. So changing our thought pattern, changing who we think we were, because every one of our stories still goes around that, what we thought of ourselves, what we thought others thought of ourselves, and then we believed it. All those things we've accepted and we've lived them in our lives, and that's not the way it was supposed to be. So let's change our lives one thought at a time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Love that. And Regina?
Heidi, I'm just so grateful to be on this platform again. Thank you, Barbara, for allowing me to be on this platform. And thank you so much, Miriam, for inviting me to share my story with these beautiful ladies and for people to hear. the one thought I want to leave, and this came years ago, saying, know yourself, accept yourself. What's the next one? Develop yourself and then give yourself. And when you do that, and I'm doing that now, so I am becoming an unapologetic, authentic woman. And as I said, it's reinventing a woman. And that's what I'm learning. So I want to let people know out there, you can be a man, you can be a child, but reinvent yourself. And as Connie stated, it all starts in the pit. All starts at the top. Begin to see yourself as something different. Don't let people talk about you and let it stay. No, people call me that. I said, well, that's you, honey. That's not me. So now I, so now I always say, I don't care what you say about me. I don't care what you think about me. It's only what I think of me. And I think I am the brilliance that the world needs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. And there's so much. My heart is so overwhelmed and and overflowing. Barbara, just thank you for your generosity. Thank you for taking times with me this week, not only on this platform, but gracing me with your presence, with your ministry, with your words, your eloquence, your fortitude, your story. Thank you. I'm so grateful that
Yes.
God has allowed you to be in my life and to speak into my life and to share and be so kind and
Oh, thank you.
kind-hearted about it. Thank you so much. Um, so much to say and unpack here. One thing I'll start with, my college buddy from HU forced me to write in a book anthology with other ladies sharing their testimony. And it was really cathartic because unpacking the journey, journaling, I do advise if people like to write, or you can speak it out on a voice or whatever your outlet. You can paint, sing, go running, whatever it is that's your self-care. Make sure you continue to do that. So I wrote when I started off, and it's entitled in this book anthology. The book anthology is called Abound, the Kingdom Paradigm, Her Story. And these are stories from ladies from Africa to all over the world. So my part starts on page 151, and it's entitled Learning to Breathe Again, Just Breathe.
Yeah.
So the one key signature phrase out of this is God gives grace for you to heal at your personal pace,
Yeah.
and that is okay.
Amen.
And I leave that with us because it's always an evolution, these moments in our journey. We'll always have a pivot. We'll come against, we get through one pivot, we go to in my CPR, your crisis, your pivot to your rebirth, and then you get into your now, which is your new beginnings as our witness, and then you get to that stage, and boom, another challenge
Something else
happens.
happens.
Yep, and there's always another pivot, and it's okay to just be not okay. It is okay. There's no shame. None of us want to heap shame on you because we're there, been there, and we're still there, going in our own personal journeys.
Mhm.
One of the things that I'd like to share as well, and you'll see the link for the Thankful Revolution. The ladies here, um, we're encouraging you all to come out this upcoming Saturday. And God downloaded to me that we're all suffering some identity crisis in some way, shape, or manner. There's something going on in this humanity of ours. And so he wants us to get back to the basics. And in that basics, we need to be reminded of who we are. And like Nina said, and like a lot of us says, I am And like my girl Sherri said, I am in the declaration because I am created us. We were created in I am's image. So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
are. So with that said, we are royalty. Embracing our own heavenly identity is coming up this Saturday. And you can find details right there on my webpage, the Thankful Revolution Legacy Group.com. If you log there, you can go to the event tab. And on the event tab, just click on it. You'll see the event information, the box, and just click on the link. It'll take you to the details. Constance is going to be sharing there. Nina's coming on. A lot of us are going to be there to just be a part of a house party, y'all. It's going to be a virtual victory house party exclusive. So you got to RSVP. And guess what? The RSVP cover charge is only $8.
Yep.
8 being the number of new beginnings. It's time for our own new beginnings. So come on out and let's have some fun. Let's be a part of a community of other people who want to encourage you. Whether you subscribe to my belief or not, the whole vision is for us to get some joy back.
Yeah.
I want you all to experience that uncontrollable rollover in your bed, fall off the bed, roll over on the floor, crying and snotting and your head hurt, your stomach hurt. We got to get some joy back, y'all.
Yeah.
Because it's too much doom and gloom out here, too much division, too much people just suffering, cancel culture, naysayers. So that is happening, and it's happening on this Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you need more details, go ahead and hit me up. You can DM me. And again, we're just here just to be of help. We just want people to be of help, because my last statement is one that God says, beloved, I wish above all else that you prosper and be in health, good health, even as your souls prosper, your mind, your will, your emotion. That's what we're called to live this life. We're not called to be born into this life just to exist and die. We're called to prosper, make an impact, and joy. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Sherri. Thank you, Constance. Thank you, Regina, for accepting the call just to be a part of this for such a time as this. We love you. And thanks, Barbara.
And ladies, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much. And for those of you that are listening to the replay, the event is this Saturday, December 14th. So, but if you are listening to the replay and say, "Ooh, I would have loved to have gone to that event," click on the link to and there will be more. So, absolutely. But for myself, if you have enjoyed the show, please share it out. If something touched your heart, made your heart sing, or convicted you that, "Ooh, yeah, I need help with something," reach out to one of these lovely ladies. If you would like to be a guest host, as Miriam said, then reach out to me. And here, let me put my info up there so that you can reach out to me and reach out on LinkedIn and just say, "Hey, Barb, just watch the show. I would like to be a co-host." And I'll set you up. And okay, ladies, was this fun?
Yes.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
This is so
Yes,
fun.
absolutely.
ma'am.
Thank
And it
you.
was
Thank
fun
you.
to do. So
Thank you.
Oh, God, it
if
was
Yes.
you've
good.
never been
Yes.
on a podcast before, if you've never been on a show before, this is a safe place to do it.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
So anyway, but if you like to share this out to friends, repurpose it, reshare it out, and just have an awesome life. And just one of the things that I want to leave you with is find that thing that makes your heart sing
Amen.
and stop beating yourself up for all the things that you're not.
Yeah.
And let's celebrate all the things that you are.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
You are a child of the Most High God. Whether you believe that or not, He loves you. So
Yes.
have a great day. We'll see you next time on Striving to Thriving. And how are you redefining what success means to you? And if you even only think one little thing, of redefining success, then this show has been a success. So have a good one. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.